What's up, everyone? Good evening, and welcome to Hoops Hobby Hangout. Hope everyone's been having a good week. Right now, it's me and Ryan here. Steve will be joining us soon. Excited to hang out this week and talk about a topic that kind of came up organically, I think. And I'll wait a little bit and see if I can wait until like the person who I initially had these conversations with jumps on with us. I think he's planning to jump on with us, but I'll kind of save that kind of teaser for later. But the topic is kind of on the discrepancies in cards, in popularity and cost and things like that. So I mean, just briefly, it's something like you see certain cards that are tens or hundreds of times more expensive or more popular than other cards, and kind of just talking about that and whether that's warranted or not. So, but again, we'll save that for later on. For now, just checking in with everyone. Ryan, how you doing? How's it been? Did you guys have fun last week without us?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I should put it out there just to everyone. Like I did play the role of the pro tops dude a couple weeks ago, but I am definitely not pro tops. So I know that came up last week. So I am very happy whenever I hear you guys hate on Fanatics.
Yeah, we thought that'd be funny because I knew you were kind of playing the role, but we thought, oh, with Joey out, now we're just gonna go crazy on the Fanatics hate. Which I think we kept it a little balanced, don't you think? We didn't go too hard into them.
Yeah, I'm never gonna live that down, am I? That's always gonna be who I am.
Hey, it's good to have that opposing voice though, because it keeps it interesting. So I enjoyed it.
Good. Yeah. Well, speak of the devil, we got our I don't know, our guest of honor, and hopefully this isn't the only time that we're hanging out with you. But we got Wilt 101 from Instagram. I actually don't even know your name. What is your name?
Yeah, this is actually the first time I've ever been on a card podcast or any podcast really for that matter. So first, I want to say it's good to meet you guys. I love listening to you guys. I just started listening to you guys like last week, and I've been listening through all the episodes. My real name is Nate, actually.
It's awesome. Nice to meet you, Nate.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys as well. And I love the work you guys are doing, and I have a lot of respect for you guys as well. So thank you guys for having me on. It's an honor.
Yeah, appreciate you jumping on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and thank you. And I mean, as you obviously can tell, and I guess this is a good time to throw it out to everyone. We're always, the whole point of this is for everyone just come hang out and whatever show cards they've picked up, talk about a topic we find interesting. And I guess it's a good segue into kind of giving some feedback about like where you and I started our conversation about this topic. So do you kind of want to tell a little bit about like how we initially connected and then came up with kind of talking about this all together?
So was it, I don't know, I've had a couple posts. Was it the Lillard post or the LeBron post that you originally?
I saw the LeBron story posts.
Okay. So yeah, I think I was comparing a like 2007 Threads LeBron 101 to the 2012 Prism Gold 101. And I think like where it really comes from, when I make these posts, is like it's not like any malice. I don't want it to be any malice to like the people that love Prism, because Prism, like if that's your thing, great. Like I just think like when I came into the hobby during like the COVID time, right? And I think like at this time we're going like Prism Silver, Zion, and Ja. And I think like anyone when they're new in the hobby joins, like you kind of get like this immediate, like when you're doing research, you immediately see like, oh, everyone's talking about Prism, everyone's talking about Select, everyone's talking about National Treasures RPAs. And so immediately in your mind, you go, those are the best. Like, and I think that's kind of where it starts. Like you immediately in your mind just go, those are the best. Well, are they actually the best? Are those what you like the most? Or is that what you're being told? So I think that's kind of where it started from with us.
And so when you were saying you were making posts about the threads, like '07 threads 101 versus the 2012 gold, do you remember what approximately like that difference in cost was? Because I assume the Prism Gold went way higher. Is that right?
Yeah, like the Prism Gold LeBron went for like 700,000, and then the Topps Triple Threads 101 went for like 4,000. I don't own either of them, so like I don't have like a dog in this hunt or anything. But like it's just like I think it's just like when we like as a hobby we talk about these things, right? I just think like everyone knows Prism, but like no one knows about Topps Triple Threads. So like there's where the price difference comes from. And like maybe it's just me, but like I love hearing about like Topps Triple Threads or like Limited's a brand that I really like, or even like these old Topps luxury box sets from like the early 2000s. Like I want more of that content personally, because like those are things like I've looked into, but like I still don't know a lot about. Like I know about Prism. I don't need to be told about 2012 Prism anymore, like or 2013. Like Prism's great. Like but I just think we need to give like other brands more respect, basically, and like we need more information about these brands and like being able to share those things, because that's what I find like the most fascinating is when I see something that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm sure I imagine you didn't do a study on this. I think it'd be interesting to do some sort of like observation on something like the amount of engagement that posts get when a kind of, I don't know, like a graphical representation of either the cost of the card versus the engagement or whatever. Because if like you and I both posted those two things, I imagine like if I'm posting the Prism LeBron and you're posting the Threads LeBron, I think everyone is going to be all over, or I think I'm doing the gold Prism. I think, yeah, like everyone's going to be all over my post and loving it. And I think, I mean, any LeBron 101 is going to get a lot of love.
Yeah.
But I think relative, it's like I can't imagine that your Threads 101 would be making rounds on social media about how amazing of a card it is. And oh my gosh, this collector just got this amazing card for their collection in the same way, at least. And I mean, like you said, it was 100 times different in price, which is just kind of crazy. What's up, Casey? And actually, the example, I don't know if you saw the little thumbnail that I kind of made for today. This is another example that, and let's see if I can do this properly. This is another example that I think kind of illustrates what you're saying.
I want to pull it up as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to pull it up and share it here. And that is, I just was looking for random examples and I ended up finding a Denny Avdia example. And this is before, granted, I don't know if you guys are aware that he had like a really big playing game this week. So a lot of his, as I was like looking for his sales, a lot of his cards were getting bought up, like buy it now and throughout the last couple of days. But this was kind of what I saw. And so within a month of each other, I think there's 3 cards that I'm kind of showing up on the screen. The first one is a Hoops rookie out of 10. It's a PSA 9. The second one is a Flux Gold rookie out of 10, PSA 10. And then the last one is his True Prism Gold out of 10, PSA 10. So each one, the Hoops Gold was sold for $60. That was sometime in, I think it was early March. The Flux Gold, probably early April before the playing game, for $300. And there was a best offer for that True Prism Gold. Again, PSA 10, I know, whatever. And that's another conversation, or maybe it's part of the same conversation. For $85,000. And so like the discrepancy is insane. And I think, it's interesting because you mentioned like, which one do you actually want?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've come across these so far, but I feel like generally speaking, like we've kind of actually crapped on Prism a lot in this, like as we've been hanging out. Like, I don't know that I prefer one or the other. Like I need to see them in hand or whatever, but I think there's a good chance like that Flux card looks similar to just as good to better than the Prism Gold. I don't know.
You literally read my mind. I was literally about to say, I like the Flux one the most from an eye appeal, but like you guys probably obviously know of Chris Hoge, right? And
yes, I was thinking. Yeah, I wonder if we're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and I was talking to him, and I was just like, honestly, like this is gonna sound crazy, but like because he has all his Jokic 1-of-1s, and I was like, the Prism is one of my least favorite from an eye appeal standpoint. Like maybe it's just me, but like Prism, for whatever reason, it's never like, even when I entered the hobby, it was never really something that stood out to me. Like Flawless, I loved like immediately. That I saw those cards and I was like, wow, I got to get into this. But and then like with the hoops on my Lillard post, I don't know if this is the case for 2020, but Lillard's 2012 hoops rookie is his first ever is his first ever cards ever printed. So it's like his black 1/1 from 2012 hoops was his first 1/1 ever.
Right.
So it's just like, how is that card worth so much less than the Prism Gold from that year, which is numbered to more? I mean, obviously it's the chrome and it's Prism and all that, and it's the first year of Prism, which I think should matter. But like, yeah. So I think like when you show these, you have the hoops, which is potentially the first, objectively, and that should matter. I think the Flux is the best looking, and then the Prism is going to be like what the card community would consider like the most prevalent in the best quote unquote.
Right. And it's probably worth noting that obviously the Flux is an insert. I think the Titan is an insert. I don't think that's the base card. And the hoops, like you said, is not the chrome, it's paper. And then Prism is like the premier chrome in the Panini world. So there's definitely differences, and there's a PSA 9 versus PSA 10, whatever. But Ryan, what are you like? Are you picking up on? I don't know if you understood it before, but are you picking up on kind of like what we're? Are you picking up what we're dropping here? What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I think you got to look at it like nowadays everything's driven by hype. Okay, so you're on Instagram. It's all about showing the flashiest card, the most expensive card. That's what it's turned into. Prior to that kind of ecosystem, if you will, there's message boards, and I've been a part of message boards for probably decades at this point. And we did eventually end up with maybe some like top sets, and this is the top card to get, this is the true rookie, all this kind of stuff, you know. But it was mainly just like knowledge base. So, you know, this is a cool set, kind of like what you're saying, Nate, where you want to pick out some sets that you've never heard of. You know, they're rare. You never see stuff around. I think message boards, even going back and looking at old posts, if you have like a player that you collect from, I don't know, like the 2000s, 2010s or something like that, you can go back and kind of check it out. I'd suggest like Blowout, looking through some of their old threads, because it's a little bit, I don't know, like maybe unbiased would be a way to put it. I think a lot of people nowadays are very invested in, I say invested in two ways, meaning that they're invested money-wise, but they're also invested like with their personality now into cards and like what kind of big cards they can show on Instagram and get the most likes or the most comments and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that wasn't the case in the message boards days, but it was like less so. I don't know. It was less so like about showing what you had, but kind of giving knowledge to the community of people collecting on things that might be interesting for them to go after. And there's a lot of cool, rare stuff that you can get for cheap that, you know, I still pursue to this day. That's just fun. And it's like, I honestly have stopped posting on Instagram and stuff because it got a little tiring, and I just don't want to be a part of that anymore. Like I'm still like chat with people, and I love the community aspect of it, but it's like some of the, let's post this big, huge card that I just spent 40K on. It just doesn't do it for me, you know? So, we got Steven. I bet he's got a good take on this. You've been listening in, Steve?
Yeah, I had it on YouTube in the background, so I've been following along a little bit.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel, and I think you know, there is something to say about like a flagship. Like I get it, you know, Prism in a way. I mean, not until really 2016 did it really kind of rise in popularity, and that was a lot too to Ben Simmons. For those of you that were around, he was like a hot prospect, and he didn't have autographs because I think Upper Deck maybe get the
he was an Upper Deck exclusive, so the Prism Silver became the chase card for him.
Yeah, exactly, and that kind of like put Prism to the next level. Everybody wanted to chase Prism because they're like, well, what do we get for Ben Simmons that's considered his best card that is licensed? And there you go, it was Prism. And then it kind of just took off from there because nobody bought that stuff prior to, I don't know, 2016, 2015. Nobody wanted it. You get boxes of that stuff for like $50. So it was crazy. Even like 12, 13.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys something because you guys have been in the hobby like longer than me. And like even, I mean, you guys, from what I hear, have been collecting like since the 90s or the 2000s. I just kind of want to know, like, why was it Prism? Why was Prism the brand, like, when you're talking about the Simmons in 2016? Why was that the brand that, like, I guess the card community kind of chose, like, to make, like, be the flagship, be the golds were like the chase, that sort of thing?
Because so nostalgia is a very powerful drug, right? So there was this whole push from like as Panini was coming in from 2012 to 2017 of they really started to do a good job of capturing the love of the refractors. Because when they came in as Donruss, the big sets that took off were the stuff that had like RPAs. So Totally Certified had some RPAs. National Treasures has obviously like the true rookie RPAs. In 2012, the first set that had that real Topps Chrome, Topps Finest set feel to it was Prism. Then they came out with Select that didn't land as well. But Ryan's right. Prism was sort of meh. I loved it. I chased it. I put together the base set. I bought way too many hobby boxes in 2012 with Prism. But they're $75 a pop. So like for Christmas, I had my wife buy me two. Stuff like that. I think over time they got to a point where Prism had the perfect blend of parallels, inserts, die cuts that were all high quality chromium cards. They shined great. Select they were inconsistent with, so they had like National Convention out of 10 greens. They had National Conventions like pink at one point. They were a little inconsistent with Select. Then they went with a tiered level of like Courtside, Premier, Concourse. So Select never really got its footing, and then Optic came out, which was to mimic Donruss, so that kind of gave you like the Topps Chrome feel. But Prism's just been consistent, and as much as they've watered it down too much, it's been hobby and retail release. There's been retail only parallels. True golds are only in hobby boxes. So it's kind of been since 2012 the most consistent, predictable product that Prism had. And back then, it was really something. Relic cards weren't as popular. People were looking for something that brought back that feel of the 90s, and Prism was sort of the one that hit best, I think. And then Ryan, there was just waves. Andrew Wiggins and Ben Simmons, Greg collected them and wanted consistency across. So if you wanted to have the best rookies every year, all of a sudden Ben Simmons isn't signing. Okay, so let's look at, then I guess Prism Golds are going to be the ones that I can have consistency with. So it happened organically, I would say. Even the Ben Simmons stuff, I would say, is like organic. Like the hobby was reacting to what the market was offering. It wasn't kind of now where an influence, Jeff Wilson goes on and tells you that he's, making money on a box of this or that. So it's just been the one product that's just been there the same since 2012, and I think collectors have and now it's at the point where you think of Panini, you think of Prism, right? You don't even like the first cards that come to your mind for most collectors are going to be Prism before they go deeper down the checklist. So
I think Gary nailed it here when he said, I think it's because it was closest to Chrome. I agree. And like you said, Steve, you're getting back into making some more consistent brands with Panini at that time. And I did kind of forget about Wiggins in like 2014. Jabari Parker too. I remember him.
And not for nothing. Sorry to cut you off, Ryan, but to that point too, the inserts were awesome in the first few years of Prism. And back then, inserts were more like the Team USA set. Some of the Hall of Fame sets, they were much, much better, appreciated than say like the White Hut rookies or the White Hut stars that Select had. So I think they kind of, looking back on it, they just did a really nice job. And then Gary's also bringing up NFL Prism too. Then they had some consistency across the brands as well. So I think they just honestly, they did a good job with it. People liked it.
Indy Car Cards ask, any idea if Prism being the key happened in football or basketball? I'd say basketball.
Yeah, definitely basketball. It was then they went back to looking back into football afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too.
on that note of you guys saying, it's the continuity from that first year of 2012 through to the Ben Simmons year. That was 2016, right?
Yeah, 16, 17.
Doesn't it just kind of make it seem silly? Because if they had just made Optic in 2012 and then started Prism in 2016 instead of the reverse, would we be talking about Optic golds as for Denny Avdia said selling for 85,000? I mean, it's kind of just so arbitrary, and it's kind of like I imagine an outsider, whether that's like my wife or an alien from outer space, just looking at us and just like laughing at us. They're just like, what is wrong with you people? You're just like arbitrarily making these random pieces of cardboard for reasons that people online are telling you to make them more important than others, like literally worth more than my car or multiple cars. It's crazy.
Joe, you know I'm a mental health professional, right? So one of the sayings that I say all the time when I'm consulting my colleagues is you cannot rationalize with the irrational. So just this train of thought's just not going to go anywhere with you, because in the end, it's all arbitrary, right? And there is a marketplace and a hobby that drives this, but you're trying to make sense of what really shouldn't make sense. It's a hobby. This should all just be something that we're enjoying. But I don't think we'll ever truly make sense of why a Prism Denny IV for $85,000. I think you were sharing that post where his other rookies are selling for a couple hundred.
And it's also like interesting to me because you're talking about like the 2012 Prism. It's interesting to me because some of my favorite cards to collect, because like when I was a kid was like late 2000s, early 2010s, and like this Panini stuff from 2009 to 2011 is like some of my favorite stuff, like stuff that no one ever talks about. And it's just like crazy to me that it took until 2012 for like a set to blow up. Like it's just crazy that like Contenders didn't blow up before then, Limited, or like, I mean, obviously you had National Treasures, and you had the Donruss. Donruss has some pretty cool cards in those sets as well.
I think it was the lockout and the double rookie class that really took it away, because you had the lockout and that year kind of sucked for product, but then you had the double rookie class of 12-13, and so you had like Anthony Davis, Lillard, I don't know, a ton of guys,
Kawhi.
Draymond Green, Kawhi,
Kyrie.
Yeah, so that really like brought it into the forefront, and then you have this like new chromium, refractor-esque prism as they called them back then, sets that. And they did slowly kind of take off. So I wouldn't say that they were heavily gone after back then until maybe 2014, 2015, 16, when they kind of took off. But yeah, like Steve said, they're building momentum ever since they came out, and people were recognized, oh, this is a Chrome equivalent. I really like Topps Chrome. This is kind of the next best thing,
And I think that's you said your name was Nate, right? Did I get to catch that right? Yeah. And I think that's a good point, Nate. But when we think about so Panini had no footing in the basketball card space at all. They literally bought out Donruss, who was making a couple of unlicensed like pop culture and multi-sport sets. And they came in 2009, 2010, but there was like a cutoff where Topps and Upper Deck still had some 09, 10 products. So they had they didn't have a full year. Then they went into a lockout year, which some of those products are great for veterans and stuff, but it was kind of a messy year. And then, no, that's a lie. 2010, 2011 was their first full year. So that was Paul George's rookie year. Great Avery Bradley. So they had one full year, then they go into lockout year. So they had 3 very different years before they finally got to have some consistency. So I think it was just tough for them to know what to give the marketplace and for the hobby to know how to respond to them, because they had half a year and then one full year and then a lockout year. So it was just, I didn't start collecting. I started collecting as an adult in September 2012, just randomly going onto the Beckett message board. So I didn't live through that as a collector. But when I think back what that must have been like, just as we go through this transition with Fanatics now, it must have been a weird spot to be, just kind of figuring out what we liked as collectors and what would go after.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think to put a bow on the Prism talk, because I think like you mentioned 2012 Prism with the LeBron, Nate, and my example happened to be Gold Prism. And again, I mean, it's like I could also talk about why is a true gold Prism 10 or 100 times more valuable than a gold shimmer or a gold disco or gold whatever. That's probably all belaboring the points we've already made. But Gary mentioned some of the appeals to 2012 Prism is that the refractors, those silvers were limited. That made it something fun to open and really brought people back. And I think has soured people on refractors now and even silver prisms, right? I mean, nobody wants a prism silver from 2024 basketball. I mean, that thing is like what you send in to protect cards that you're selling, right? Or right. Nobody wants a Topps Chrome base refractor from 2025. And same thing in baseball. I mean, so as things have developed and as the hobby has turned into just the mega like investment sort of like get rich attempt, it's definitely changed because of the way that they've changed the product manufacturing and breakdowns. So that's one example. Are there other examples that you guys have thought of or in this conversation or previously or can think of where maybe the discrepancy in either popularity or cost just doesn't quite make sense?
I've got one, but it's unresearched, so I don't know if the data is going to still hold up to this. Flawless RPA versus an NT RPA.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing because I actually just looked them up right now.
See, Joey, exactly. This is why we work so well together.
I was going to mention that same thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's the first thing that came to my mind too. Now, I was trying to be a little unbiased, so I didn't look for like a big mega star, which we could do, and maybe that would be like the follow-up after we talk about this one. But I just picked a random like relevant player who's a role player, so he's not worth thousands or anything like that. But the person that I happened to end up picking was Tumani Kamara from the Blazers. So just looked at his recent RPA sales, and so his flawless RPA sold for $185. That's like from what I saw, literally took a 1 minute search. So this, if this isn't his base RPA, correct me if I'm wrong, but sold for 185-ish bucks. His base NT RPA sold for $435. So what is that? Almost over double, right? A little over double. Someone want to take why that's like so crazy? I mean, that it's over double.
Do they have an image of the back of that? Because I bet you it's a non-associated patch.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. Conveniently, they don't have an image of the back of it.
I think they all pretty much are anymore. The more recent years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The flawless ones are always game worn, right? Or at least associated, right? Yep.
Yeah, game worn. So here's the back of the flawless where it says that those game worn materials and autograph are guaranteed. So yeah, so the fact that obviously the flawless is game worn, so it's an actual meaningful piece of jersey or patch that he wore in his rookie year, whereas the NT was not. The NT not even player worn. I mean, obviously RPAs dating back to 0304 with Exquisite and stuff like that have traditionally always been player worn, except flawless. Although they did have some insert RPA sets throughout the years that had game worn stuff, but like the base RPA that people kind of like truth as the true RPAs have always been game worn, player worn, except for flawless, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But now, ever since 2020, when COVID happened, it's always been for RPAs non-associated, so not player worn, not game worn, nothing. So like obviously this is not the best flawless patch. If you want, I saw a better flawless patch. This flawless patch here, obviously a nicer patch, a 3-color patch. That one still sold for $341, which was $100 cheaper than the NTRPA. So obviously a big discrepancy. Sorry.
Just to add to it too, like I'm sitting here looking on eBay as you talk, and Peyton Pritchard's obviously a Celtics player. His most recent sale of a true out of 99 NTRPA was $710. His most recent sale of a flawless RPA out of 25 game used was $635. So almost $100 difference. And I have one of those Peyton Pritchards, so I was really happy to see that price. Not that I'm going to sell it, but it's always nice when your cards actually are worth a little something.
Yes.
I mean, I'll set the so this is one that's always blown my mind. So I want to hear what you guys have to take on it. What I will say for the National Treasure stuff is we talked, and I bring it up after the Prism talk, because you talk about consistency and lineage. National Treasures goes back to the mid 2000s. It was a pre-Panini Leaf and Donruss brand. It was a very high-end, well-respected brand in football. And the NTRPA, and this is Ryan's going to shake his head because of the message board stuff, is the only true rookie. And the concept of a true rookie base card, so it's part of the base set, is such a big thing in the overall collectability of the card market for the last few decades. It's the only true base rookie that's an RPA. So it's part of the base set. It's not an insert. So that's where the lineage and the respect of the NTRPA comes from. All the Flaws cards are technically inserts, so they're not quote-unquote true rookies, but there's something special about a game-used rookie year patch. And I think I respect it, the reasons for the NTRPAs. Unassociated, I don't own any of them. I know at least one person in this hangout does own an unassociated RPA. But it's always blown my mind ever since Flaws came out that they never overtook the NTRPA, even though I truly, truly do understand why those NT cards are so well sought after and collected.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Steve, and that's really what it comes down to, is like lineage. And yes, I'm that guy that owns the non-associated, but I was one of those people that just wanted NTRPAs of every Denver Nuggets rookie because that's what I collected. So I think I got the Deron Holmes. I paid like $100 for it, and I'm like, why did I buy that? But it really is. It's like it goes back to what you're talking about. That was what people labeled as the true RPA rookie in the Panini era. So a lot of people chasing it, and it makes sense. And that kind of was decided again, back in the message boards, they just kind of carried over. But I think, the cool part about it is you can look at Flawless and decide, no, you know what? I don't want that non-associated patch, because at least player worn, back when we were buying those and they're player worn, kind of disappointing. It's not like a game used patch or anything like that, but you could let it slide. As you said, at least the player wore it. Maybe they wore it to the rookie photo shoot or something like that. That's kind of cool. And it's their true RPA. And then nowadays, if it's a similar price or even less for the Flawless, that just gives people that option to buy that when they figure that out, right? They may have been shown NTRPA, that's what you want to get, buy that. But then somebody tells them, no, check out Flawless, that's an actual game used. And then they have the option, which is kind of cool. So in that regard, yeah, I would probably, if I was starting out, and I don't really chase Nuggets rookies anymore. I think that stuff just goes for too much. I mean, I kind of stopped with Michael Porter Jr. back in the day, so I haven't really done it too much unless it's something I'll throw a low ball bid and see. Maybe I'll win it, maybe I won't. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
I also was thinking too, one of those differences, and you guys were talking about, I guess, Steve, you're talking about the importance of the base versus the insert. I also thought one of the interesting things was the parallels, because that the NTRPA had just sold, I just took it off the screen, but it sold for it sold for $435. Here's one of the parallels of that out of 8, which sold for $235. So still $200 less. Let's just say half the price for ease of discussion. I mean, just a little bit more than half the price. And it's way more rare, right? Out of 8 instead of out of 99. Arguably, it's more interesting looking. I mean, I personally am so fatigued of the white NT RPA look, and it just looks the same every year, where it's that vertical with the kind of cropped torso shot and some foil around the window, whatever. To me, this looks so much more interesting. And I don't know that I would necessarily say I like it better, but it's different. It's interesting. It's unique to me. The fact that it's unique to me makes it more appealing. And it's 10% as rare, less than 10% as rare, and it's selling for half the price. So it's just another kind of angle to look at that from. I don't know if any of you have any thoughts on the base RPA versus one of the parallels or whatever that difference.
Yeah, if you want to see a card values that are really different, and the years that they have the horizontal parallel. So when the RPAs are vertical, sometimes they'll have an out of 49 horizontal version, and those sell for pennies on the dollar compared to the true verticals. And it really goes back to that concept of the true base rookie. So if you're chasing a base set, or if you want the best true rookie of a player, there's going on now. There's over 2 decades of lineage saying that the best true base rookie card, the highest value base true, I keep saying it, rookie of any player is their NTRPA, and that's just you can't beat that trend over time. And then that's what gets pushed over on people. And then when there's breaks coming up, it's you want those RPAs, and even in football, those RPAs became a thing, right? So Josh Allen's NTRPA became a huge card once he started to make some ground in the NFL. And sometimes you just can't beat the narrative. But again, this is another example of, Ryan, maybe you'll agree with me, the narrative happened organically. Like the thought of the NTRPA being a true base rookie and therefore having a premium value over parallels, etc., of a similar card, or an immaculate insert of that was a similar setup with a player worn patch. It just happened because that was just what the hobby wanted, for many, many years.
Yeah, I agree. That's really what it comes down to, is even though objectively, like I agree, Joey, that card looks better because it matches his Blazers jersey. It's the red background with the red on the Blazers jersey. I think it looks better,
right?
But it's not that true RPA, and that's really what it comes down to. And I think that's why they sell for more, and they still sell for more. And I think maybe the gap is closing a little bit, and people are more going out. There's just so much choice now that they're going after something that appeals to them.
Right.
Not so much what is told. Is said this is the best. Well, I guess it could go both ways too, but I do see a lot of people being excited about something that's maybe not considered like the true rookie or the true Prism rookie, the one that everybody chases. And if you got a brain and you want to use it, just pick what appeals to you instead of what the masses want.
I want to actually.
Good point, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say that's a good point, Ryan. Like that's kind of like my whole thing is I just want. I guess not that I just want people to collect what they love and what they think is cool. And you're going to hear the voice in your head of the influencer or YouTuber that you saw with the holding up the NTRPA of whatever the player is, of the true 1 out of 99, if that's what you want to call it. But if you don't like it as much, just collect what you like and don't let anyone else have that influence on you, basically. Don't let the sales history hold you back either. If you're spending a little bit more, you don't know the price. If you think it's cool, go for it. That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And it's true, because sometimes we get caught up into what's going to be the best investment. I think a lot of people think like that now. So obviously when you go back to Prism or NTRPAs, what's going to hold up over time, because I'm spending a lot of money on it. And that's really what it comes down to, is if I'm going to spend a lot of money, I want to make sure that my quote unquote investment holds up. And that's in a lot of people's mind. But if they would just let go of that a little bit, they could just pick up some cool cards and be happy with them and spend a lot less money and not have to worry about what their stuff's worth. So, 2 kind of different mindsets. I get both of them, in a way, but for my funds, for my money, I just want to pick up something that I enjoy that reminds me of the season that I watched the Nuggets and it was an exciting season or something like that, not necessarily the best cards from it. And if they're too expensive, if they're not, maybe I'll chase them. But
okay. On this topic, there's something that I guess came to my mind, because I think a lot of people do collect, not necessarily out of investment motivations or with the hope that their collection retains value. And I think some people do for that purpose. But let's say we have a person, and I'm sure we could all name people that are like this, that they just collect because they love collecting and they want to purchase cards or have a collection of their player, their team, their set, whatever that they love. Isn't that person still buying the Prism Golds and the I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe not the NTRPA because there's just something so different about it being non-associated now and stuff like that. But isn't that person still buying the popular stuff? Because like the logic is if it's popular, it's probably more expensive. Don't you feel like there's a negative stigma now? You said like you just buy something you like because you like the look of it. Isn't there a negative stigma on things that on cards that are not valuable? Because, and I've seen people even use phrases like this, like, what is the point of owning something like that? I remember in Blowout, which obviously is a shell of its former self. Like I remember reading a month ago or so in the Shohei Ohtani thread, because I just like, I think I like the baseball boards there better than basketball. I think they're more like collector focused, whatever. And somebody like shared their pickup of a $15 second year Shohei card. And I think somebody responded like, is there a reason you're showing this to us? Do you actually think that this is going to go up in value? I think somebody actually said that. I guess my point is, do you feel like there's a negative stigma around cards that don't necessarily have room for growth? I don't feel like even in the very collector focused pockets of the hobby, I still feel like there's a little bit of a negative stigma around that. Like when, I don't know, I'm going to stop talking, but I don't know if you guys have any thoughts or if you would agree or disagree or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And it really comes down to like the person themselves that's asking that question. That's probably their focus. So then they project it on that other person. Well, I collect for investment. Why are you not doing that? But I don't think you have to collect like that. I've seen a lot of people nowadays, even on Instagram, still posting stuff that they just love to collect. I mean, look at Forks Beard, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
He just collects what he loves, and I love looking at his posts because they're just like sets of guys that you're like, oh, I remember that player, and he's got like a little write up about, you know, what they've done, what they've accomplished, and he puts together his 9 pocket page, and it's just interesting. So they're still out there, but you know, it's hard to separate the noise of everything else going on and then focus on like the actual people that are still collecting, because it's just we're outnumbered. So
yeah, and it's hard to separate the noise and actually focus on, like you guys said, the cards you like, because that noise is constantly being like, you're constantly absorbing that noise that's telling you that the $9 Doug Christie card I just picked up out of 50 from 0203 MVP, which I haven't seen for a couple of years. It's just like, who cares? Because it's a sub $10 Doug Christie card and nobody cares about that, right? So
I love that card, by the way. I didn't even know that existed. And if you had picked that up and it had been a 2003 Topps Gold out of 50, I would not have enjoyed it near as much.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love that card.
That. Yeah, it's a cool one.
Yeah, and I actually feel like I kind of agree with you. I mean, those cards, like a Topps Chrome Gold Refractor, are awesome cards. But something about the fact that everyone loves them and oohs and ahs over them kind of just like detracts from the appeal.
Yep, that's the same for me. I like to zag while everyone else zigs.
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember you were talking about Chris Hoge, who like he always with his Jokic cards always talks about like, do I like better the cards that have like the long lineage, like Optic, where it started in 2016 and then went all the way through Panini's end, or like I'm just thinking of one, I don't think Jokic is in it, but like Vanguard that had one release or something. And I love those one-offs because even though they don't get the fanfare, I just think they're so much more unique because they only happen once.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for like maybe shorter lineage, like especially like if you have a 1 or 2 year release, like there's only like however maybe there's 20 total golds from the total brand that released over 2 years, or 2 total 1-of-1s, like compared to the, what would it be, 13 1-of-1 true black prisms or whatever. Like I don't know, I think there's something to be said about the shorter lineage, that there's only like ever.
I completely agree. I think it's so much more appealing. Like, I don't care that the lineage isn't there. There's literally 2 of them. Yeah, no, I agree.
And I don't know. I think it just my favorite card in my collection, like, is the did you see the LeBron USA patch on my page? It's from an unlicensed product.
I don't think I did. No.
Okay, so
pull it up while you talk.
this is a very unique card. It's from actually, let me pull up the Instagram post so I make sure I can say this correctly. This is just like it's from the first year ever of the bar, which was an unlicensed product. I think it's still going on right now. Most of the cards are like very, very, very ugly. And I looked at this card and I like it was the biggest purchase I've ever made. And I was like, do I like this card or do I hate this card? Like I literally couldn't decide if it was like my favorite card ever or my least favorite card ever. So I voting for me here. Yes, yep, that's it. That's correct. So I did research on it. First off, the slab is cracked. I bought it that way, so I was like, whatever, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Hopefully, it makes the value go down, so I actually have a chance at it. And then the patch is actually, I found the source material on the third slide. You'll see the source material. It is from a 2003 or the 2004 Olympics. Nice. That jersey is from the 2004 Olympics, and it's the USA patch from that jersey, which is so awesome to me. And then you have the cut auto, and it's from like Upper Deck authenticated just like index card that he signed to go with a picture. But anyways, and like the more time that goes by, I love this card because it's literally a 1 of 1 in terms of it's his only USA patch card ever, because like there's none that have like ever been released in Panini products. I love like it's a drawing. I love the drawing of LeBron. I think it looks it's really well done actually. And a lot of these cards, like the drawing doesn't look like the player at all. And like I'm thinking about this and I'm like, because I think I mentioned in the post, like I could never get a logo man. Like that's just way out of my price range. But like the more I think about it, I'm like, I think like literally if we just set values aside, and I know it's my own card, right? So like it's my own card. So of course I'm going to love it. And of course I'm going to hype it up like anyone would. But like honestly, like if this was on the table and like a logo man, LeBron, values aside, I think I'm picking this up because this is his only USA patch. He's got 200 and some logo man by now probably. And yeah, it's unlicensed. I get that. If the unlicensed is a disqualifier for you, that's fine. If the oversized card's a disqualifier for you, that's fine. Yeah, it's not the shiniest, but like to me, it's meaningful. And like, I love it every time I look at it. It brings me so much like joy and like just awesome, like knowing that I have this and like it's his only one with the USA patch.
I gotta say that's one of the better bar cards that I've ever seen too.
I was just gonna say that, Ryan, because some of their stuff looks like it came out of my son's kindergarten classroom.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I love that patch. The sketch there is cool, and the fact it doesn't have to be licensed because it's USA. So
exactly,
they can portray that on there. Yeah, like they give you the jersey that it came from is really cool too. Like if you go to that second slide there, Joey, I love that. I love stuff like that because you don't have to like track it down or kind of did they actually get this from a jersey or did they just get it from the store? You know, they actually tell you the source material. And, you know, despite like some of their other stuff looking kind of crazy, that one looks great. And that's a respected brand. I mean, I don't believe they just put out just random crap. They actually put out actual jerseys that they purchased and they oftentimes like let you know where it came from. So that's extra cool too. So a really great pickup in my opinion, because you're right. If you bought the logo man, what is it going to be? 50 times the cost of that and probably not as unique, anywhere near as unique. So that's really great, man. I love that.
And probably no auto on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a cut autograph, but like, yeah, it's not I get it. It's not for everyone. And that's exactly why it's for me. Like, because it's not for everyone. It's for me because this is literally a grail card for me. And it's kind of like Ryan was saying, like, we have the source material on the back. Like, there's no way to prove that's like 100%. Like, obviously, sometimes like something, maybe it is a cut jersey from a non-associated, but like, we don't know for sure because like they've been around and we have proof basically. We don't have proof, but they're respected kind of, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the fact they show you the source jersey, that's about as good as you're going to get. I mean, we're just guessing nowadays.
Too, so
Yeah. So a lot of times nowadays it says it was worn in a game. Well, what game? And then was it actually worn by the player that you're talking about? Some of the wording's like really wishy-washy. So the fact they show you the jersey, I would have pretty extreme confidence in that over some of even the stuff that like Panini's done. So it's cool.
So, and I think this card's a great example of, and one thing that I wanted to bring up that I don't think you guys hit on yet when we're talking about some of this price discrepancy, and we're not going to get negative about this, but it's just a fact, is that what Nate's saying is he found this out there and this works for him because there is so much stuff out there that other people aren't looking for. And part of it is, I think, Nate, when you first came on and you talked about like wanting to get educated about sets and how do you find that information, there's a whole realm of this quote unquote hobby of people that are just looking for the premier stuff. Kyle had one of his last guests that he had on his podcast, the Wax Museum podcast. He did a supplemental sort of extended version of the interview on YouTube. This gentleman shared that at one point he had $10,000 and he asked Ruben or one of those guys to invest the money for him. And the guy went out and bought him some sort of Michael Jordan card or something, right? And we all know the guys that are very public at the shows with the cards around their necks, or the Goldens of the world that might want to transact with something for their show, right? Like there's a whole subset of the industry that is going to go out and drive up the price of that Denny Advia True Gold Prism, because that's the only Denny card they're looking for. They don't know that Flux card even exists, and they would not get any enjoyment out of buying $1,000 Denny card. They want the $80,000 card that they bid up their other buddy that wanted to pay $80,000 for it. They think it's an investment, and that I'm not even. There's, God bless them, Godspeed. I hope it works out for you. Then it does make it tougher for the Nates of the world to then go and learn what other really cool stuff is out there, because unfortunately that's the stuff a lot of new collectors will see when they come in. But that's a big part of the price discrepancy that I think we just have to be aware of. There's repackers, there's investors, there's auction houses, there's fanatics that want to put stuff in Dick's Sporting Goods, and we're not debating whether any of that stuff's good or bad for the hobby, but that's going to drive up. That's the primary reason that this stuff. I sold a Jay Crowder Prism Gold rookie for $2,700. Like somebody just wanted I had a second copy. It was graded. He wanted it. I sold it. Right. Like I went and bought I bought a Mookie Betts rookie auto on card for like, I don't know, an eighth of that money. And then I put like $1,500 in my vacation fund. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's just people that we don't understand that's not in our realm of collecting that I think is the primary focus for a lot of these, really, really, really crazy prices. I think we had a great conversation about the stuff like the NT versus the Flawless, but when you're talking about some of the really crazy prices, a true LeBron logo, man, there might be 50 of them on the market, but the exclusive one's going to sell for like insane money. There's just a subset out there. So I just wanted to bring that up there as like a sort of the elephant in the room, is that there is like a whole investor crowd to it.
Mm-hmm. And like that's great. And I agree with you, Steve, 100%. And like, if that's what I want people to do, what they want to do. So when the investor crowd wants to do it, that's great. I think like, not that I have a problem, but it just like grinds my gears a little bit, is like, those are like a lot of the times the people that are like influencing people who are just getting into the hobby, or like it's what's being posted on social media. So I think like there is just like, I don't even know how if there's like not even that there needs to be a solution, but like it's just like going to continue to push like those prisms and the selects and the national treasures up and up and up, and because people just don't know about the lesser known sets, which is great for me, because then I can keep buying cards at prices that I want to buy. But I also think like for a new collector, because like I know when I came in, like I didn't know about these lesser known brands, so like I think they're cool, and I just think like that if people realized how cool some of these things were, they would stop buying those more premium brands and buy like a lesser known brand, but get like a card that they might think is cooler, but they just didn't know about.
No, that's well said, Nate. And I think we did I'd say just by as Nate, you're new to joining us, and we can tell you that Joey, Ryan, and I do not spend a lot of time prepping this stuff. Like this is all organic conversation. Like we have no idea what we're all going to bring to the table. We did a nice job, I think, talking about, even if prices are out of control right now, some brands that grew organically, right? Like National Treasure, the Prism stuff, that did. the kabooms are completely inorganic. That's a manufactured hype, and honestly, people are coming in thinking that the coolest cards in the world are kabooms, and they're being told they need to own them. And if you go to a show, there's going to be people with just kabooms in a showcase. There's nothing organic about the growth of the kaboom market. It's 100% manufactured, and I think that's what I'm taking from what you're saying is also this concerning part of like, how do we navigate in a hobby that now has this blend of prices that will keep being pushed up, whether that's organically or not organically, and it ends up hiding the stuff that is out there for other people to take a look at. So I think it's a very valid concern, and it's like, how do we bring collectors in and help them see the other stuff that's really fun and revisit some of the other lower end stuff. I agree with you.
And then piggybacking off that, Steve, like a part of that brought it I love the kaboom example because I actually have like a friend and he's new, like he's just getting in. And he was texting me and he was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about investing, or I'm thinking about buying Jokic. What do you think about his kaboom?" And I was like, it's just scary. And I told him, I was like, if you want to invest, like I would not buy the kaboom, but it's just like, it's what he's seeing. And like, he obviously loves cards. So he's like collecting, he's not just an investor, but it's just like, he's just so new and it's like what he's seeing. So it's very scary for like, to see like a friend like that might lose a bunch of money because the market is being, not necessarily manipulated, but manufactured, like you said.
Well, it's funny you guys mentioned kabooms because what I intended at some point is I just searched Tim Duncan and recently sold cards in the last 3 months because I was going to try to compare like Tim Duncan sales from the 90s to Michael Jordan. And then you guys mentioned kabooms. And so you guys can see here that there's a $20,000 green 101 kaboom sale right here. I don't even know from when, from May of last year. There was also from this year's, or I guess last year's now, green kaboom for $15,000 in June. And it's like, let's just go to the bottom of the page. How many of these cards would you rather have? Like this immaculate card, this immaculate patch auto. Oh my God, I would rather have that card for
any day of the week
of that most recent kaboom and keep $8,000 in my pocket, right? Yep. I mean, it's like, it's crazy.
Super Rave, the credentials now,
totally.
The credentials future, any of them, like you said.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, and like even the kaboom's not even playing day. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Go Nate. No, Nate, go with that. Say that again.
Like it's not playing days. Like that. Like think about, like I always think about this because I came in, I wanted to collect Wilt, and I was like, okay, I'll collect like if I collect these modern 1-of-1s, like it's cool to me, but like it's not playing days, and like they can continue to make more and more Wilt 1-of-1s forever and ever and ever and ever. In 100 years from now, how many Wilt modern 1-of-1s are there going to be from his post playing days? Like, I don't know. I think that playing days needs to. I mean, to me, it matters a lot too because like, how many 1-of-1 Tim Duncans are we going to see in the future too? Like, there's going to continue to be Topps Chrome 1-of-1s and whatever going forward for that too. Like, it's just going to continue on and on.
I think you can take any player that is hyped up at the moment, do a search of sold items, and you're going to see those kabooms at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Outpacing cool rookie cards, outpacing big inserts from the 90s in like Duncan's case. Because look at that 97, 98. I think you had it.
This one?
Up there. Skybox Premium Star Rubies.
Oh, right here.
Rookie card. Okay. All right. That's his rookie card. And that's the out of 50 Star Rubies, which I've wanted for a very long time and passed one up back in the day for like $200. Always regretted that. But that is a fraction of the cost of that kaboom, which is non-playing days. Doesn't appeal to me at all. I mean, I get the appeal of some people like that cartoon style. I mean, you know, maybe that's what they like about it, but it's mainly just hype that's driven it. And I think you can do that with a lot of players, and just it's a head scratcher. Maybe it holds up over time. It could be that people are collecting them now, and that's just always going to be something that's desirable in the future. I mean, I don't really know. It could be. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you can do that with pretty much any player, and it'll just blow your mind.
So Nate, you were saying, I mean, I guess by your handle, so you said you were thinking that they could just perpetually make new Wilt 1 of 1s. So do you only collect specific Wilt 1 of 1s or what?
So my handle actually, I guess it kind of makes sense because I do collect Wilt still, but like it's gotten so expensive because it's obviously so rare that it's kind of hard for me to get that stuff. But outside of that, I do like my collection for the most part is just other 1 of 1s, and I just collect things that are from like that I consider sets that are cool to me that people don't know about, or cards that are that might be like important to me because like there's more meaning behind it just being a 1 of 1, and that sort of thing. But yeah, honestly, like Chris Hoge, like I mentioned earlier, he was a pretty big influence on me. And then like I just really appreciate all the podcasts and content and the hobby like that you guys do, or like Wax Museum was mentioned earlier. Like that stuff is like I eat that up. Like when we're talking about just random things, it could be anything, but like just anything that like that is just like very unique is what really draws my attention. So yeah, just like 1 of 1s. And actually I've one of my new things that I've been collecting is Wilt tickets. I think for
Cool.
vintage there's really cool tickets. So I looked at like the PSA pop report and I think there's like 16 total Wilt rookie tickets or something like that. And
Wow.
I bought 2 of them on eBay not too long ago, and I think they were like a few $100s a piece. And like that to me is awesome because I had his 1961 Fleer, sold that, and then like because like it's a cool card, but it's not rare, and I'd rather just collect tickets for a fraction of the price personally, because that's cooler to me. Because like those like the 61 Fleer wasn't made during his rookie season, and those tickets did come from his rookie season. There's so many less of them, so like just stuff like that is stuff I look for. And like when I something like that, I see something, I go, oh, that's really cool and unique. Then I'll go down a rabbit hole and see if it's something worth pursuing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's me to a T, man.
Yeah, definitely.
We're currently pursuing comic books at the moment. That's all.
Yeah, I heard that.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'd definitely rather have those Wilt rookie tickets for a couple $100 than a lot of cards that are selling for thousands. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Ryan did a good job, I think, of kind of like highlighting what was said in the chat, but really good conversations in the chat about value in cards, or also like social media versus forums and cards, and then the kabooms. And right now he's mentioning, or he highlighted Chris Todd's comment that he says that kabooms did start organically. It's a cool card. Then Panini just ramped it up, and then I think Steve responded that it was at first, and then it became not an artistic card. It became computer generated after the first couple of years. So good conversation there. I did want one last thing, and I guess we can throw Gary's comment there since he just threw it in. He's not a fan, and he has a John Wall. He said that's more than any other John Wall he has. But yeah, I think who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the iconic Panini inserts become. I wanted to bring up the NT and flawless thing just before we go, of a player that would command more than a Peyton Pritchard or Tumani Kamara. No disrespect to them. I started looking at Luka. I was like, at least Luka's NT RPAs are player worn. So let's look at NT RPAs that are non-associated completely. So I said, hey, let me look at Tyrese Halliburton, who was the first year of the non-associated. So here is a sale. I'm sorry, I just did this on the fly. So it's not the most like temporally accurate, because these sales are from 2023, I think. So like just 2.5 years ago or whatever. So they're a little outdated or whatever, but I think that probably the trends may be similar, but at least they were there at the time. This one that I'll highlight right now, his just base NTRP at a 99, pretty cool patch. Sorry, I'm trying not to show like the cost or whatever. So you can see it's a pretty cool patch there. Let me get out of this one. Does anyone want to take a guess what that sold for? I mean, you might have seen some prices there on the side, but his base NTRPA.
I was trying to not look, but I saw some prices.
Was it recent? Sorry, was it? How long ago was it? Was it like
2.5 years ago? So late 2023.
Oh gosh.
Sure, it's more now.
we're trying to determine the price of the NTRPA there in the middle. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Steve, did you see the prices? You might be a better guess because
I didn't see them. I don't even remember what that.
I don't even. I'll say back then. I don't know. A couple of years ago, I'll say $2,500.
All right. So the NTRPA was $5,600. The Flawless. Let's go ahead and look at the Flawless RPA that sold 2 days either before or after. So here's his Flawless RPA. I think this picture is a little easier to see. His Flawless RPA, game worn instead of completely unassociated and unrelated to him. What relative to that 5,600? What do you think it would have sold for?
$1,200.
I was going to say like half.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's about half. 5,600 to 2,800. So, like, obviously the difference when you talk double for two Monte Camara, you're talking about a couple $100. When you talk double for a Halliburton or a Luca or whatever, like Halliburton, you're probably talking a few $1,000. Luca, you're probably talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So just I thought an interesting little thing to look at there.
Yeah, for sure.
Does anyone have anything else, or should we kind of wrap us up?
I'm good on my end. Other than Nate, really appreciate you stepping out on a limb and joining your first ever podcast. I really enjoyed having you with us.
No, I just want to thank you guys for having me on too, because like I said, I'm still new in comparison to you guys, and I'm very analytical. Obviously, you guys can probably tell by the way I approach these things, but I still collect what I love, and I have a lot of respect from you guys, and I learn from you guys, and I love that you guys are doing this show, and I hope you guys continue to do it in the future, because I love listening to it every week.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I hope this isn't the only time that you hang out with us.
Yeah, just let me know if you want me to come back on and give more of my hot takes.
All right, we'll bug you every week. All right, guys. And everyone that's hanging out in the chat, Gary, Chris, Casey, and everyone here, have a great week. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next week.
Be well, everybody.
See you guys.